how do you match if you have an older year of graduation? So we had an applicant with 19 years old graduation, 2001. How do you match if you're a repeat applicant? So we had several of the students who successfully matched after attempting for the third time. How do you match if you have little or no USCE? How do you match if you have less than 2 or 3 interviews, so limited number of interviews? How do you match if you have a lot of research, but again, you don't have enough USCE? So what do you do? How do you match if you do not have complete application at the time of interviews? So something that may come up in this season as well. So we had applicants who applied without CS. These are the topics we discussed. In fact, there was another topic very current which may be applicable to all of you IMGs who are maybe in US or outside US, which was the impact of COVID-19. What is likely to happen and how should you plan your application in view of this uncertainty? So watch on.
What changes for repeat applicants when they apply or are successful? What do they struggle with? And how do they achieve the dream? So I'll go around the table. Francis, let's go to you. You were a repeat applicant, right?
Yes,
And you were a
I am.
2001 graduate. That is huge. So
Yes.
why don't you tell our audience on how you did it?
Well, I want this a short thing. The first thing is that this was my second time applying for the match, and I want to tell everyone it hurts the first time that you don't, but I think that you have to overcome that and work in that resilience that you're gonna need further during your life and as a resident, and then bring that experience to the game, because when you do this, your knees and stand up, you have to diagnose what you did wrong, and that's something that I introspect and went and did, and that's how I found your group, and I'm very grateful for that enlightenment in my life, because certainly it helped me to look at things that I didn't do right the first time. I applied late the first time. I didn't have a good CV, even if I had things to show when I have my mentor in Sarthi group. I find out that I was missing so much of how to present myself and sell my product. And I think that helped me a lot in the second application. The third point is that you guys opened my eyes to do not narrow my possibilities. I remember yet the first time we talked, Mr. Tawan, and I mean, I was amazed by all the windows that you opened up for me when I have that door closed. It was very, very good in that way. And also, there were some couple of things that you guys guide me to do, not just to improve my presentation in the CV, but also to reach out to the programs when I apply. I didn't do that the first time. I just applied and that was it. Didn't told them before, didn't told them afterwards, didn't follow up, and actually that helped me to get interviews too. That reach out to the programs that helped me, and I think I told you that too. And certainly having a broad application. I'm an internal medicine physician. I did hematology and practice as an attendant in my homeland. And when I came here, I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do, and that's it, right? And when I have this conversation with you, you showed me that there were so many ways that I can go back into practice, which is my ultimate goal, to help people. And that's how I ended up matching in family medicine. You will think, well, how you saw yourself being so focused and narrow in something, and you ended up doing going into a complete different practice. But this is what you do with the work and the guidance that you can get with this group, with everybody. As simple as that.
Thank you, Francis. Roshan, you also were a repeat applicant, right? Any specific?
Yeah, so I'm a repeat applicant, and the major mistake I did last year when I applied was my interview performance. So my answers were not concrete enough, and I just put words, but I didn't give an example. So I did it, but because I thought I had many interviews, I'm going to match, but I did not.
Yep.
And this year,
Mm-hmm.
I applied to just few programs, and I learned my mistake in a hard way, but that's fine. So I got few interviews, but I matched. And the thing is, answering during an interview is really important. And people match with one interviews. And I know many people who match with one interviews. And if you do really good in interviews, it doesn't matter your scores, your research, or anything. It doesn't matter. You will match. So that was my experience. So prepare your interview for really well. Set a timer. Practice like 1,000 times. I don't care, but you need to practice a lot.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's really important. And also I did some clinical rotations, and I also focused more on research. I did present poster in conferences and things. So those also helped me. But I would say interview preparation is really, really important.
Good. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yash, what was your experience with applying second time? I think you were a second time applicant.
Yeah, second time applicant. So thank you first of all, Pawan, for giving me this opportunity. I just want to congratulate everyone first. As everyone mentioned, Francis mentioned, first of all, determination is very important. That if every one of us can do it, even you can do it. As Roshan also mentioned, interview performance is very important. But I also want to tell you few important points that are, might be missing in your CV. So I applied last year in 2018, and I received only one interview. And this year I got 10 interviews. So it was complete change in my profile. And I think the most of the credit I should give it to the Sarthi team, the whole panelists. It's amazing how everyone works towards, increasing and, making your profile very strong. They would introspect, and they told me that my USC has been lacking in hands-on rotations. So Sarthi team helped me in getting those hands-on rotations. Secondly, one of the most important points that we all miss is, making your CV and your personal statement very nice and very thorough, clean, mistake-less, flawless. And this is where I think Sarthi team does an amazing job. They have helped me, Americanize my CV and help me clean my mistakes, apply on time. Secondly, the mentors, they are really top-notch people, to look forward to. George, and I'm sure he has helped me a lot of times in research, and he'll tell you more about that. But really, research, USC, CVPS, everything becomes very important when you're a repeat applicant. The other point is, I think step 3. Step 3 helped me boost my profile as well. And one of the important reasons I feel was the motivation through my mentors, that, they'll push you. You have only 6 months from period of March 15 or March 16 to September 15. That is only possible to do all these things if you are ready from the start. So buck up, time is yours, and you can do it. So improve your profile. Take step 3, USC, research, CVPS. If I can do it, everyone can do it. It's not difficult. Other thing as well, I think mentors will tell you around the clock all the time that few important points so you might be missing in your CVPS, and they'll help you all the way. So I think all these factors, including IB practice, as Roshan said, this helped me to achieve those 1 to 10, the double-digit dream interviews. And I feel that is the reason I matched. So thank you so much, Pawan and the team. I'm blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nimit, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Firstly, all of those who are watching, I know some of you might have not matched this year. I know it's a really painful thing. I know the feeling. I was in your shoes last year, as were most of the panelists who are here today. And all I can say is that by not matching, you can actually show a lot of things to the programs in the coming cycle. You can show what kind of determination you have by just working on your CV. In a lot of my interviews, I was asked, did you apply last year? People always ask, do programs know if you're repeat applicants? Yes, I think they do. So I was asked at a number of my interviews, what have you done since last year? And I could show through my clinical experience that I had gained. I gained a number of rotations. I had different hospitals all over the country. I was able to diversify my profile. I was able to add research to my profile. And programs really look for that what did you do to overcome this setback of not matching? Because it is a huge deal not matching. You've put in all this effort and time into it, and it's a huge setback. So when you are able to show programs that you're able to overcome it, and you're still working and you're still determined to get that residency, they really respect that, and you can go a long way through that to matching by just showing that. To give you just a personal account of it, I had received only 2 interviews last season partially because of my late application. And so this year, right after I did not apply, right after I did not match, I joined Sarthi, and Sarthi really gave me direction of what I need to do. I'm really grateful for that. I was able to build up my CV. I was able to get research, more USCE, and I think that showed. And that's how I really ended up with more than 15 interviews. Pretty much, that's the reason. And I think it's just that you have to take this, setback and continue to work towards it.
Yeah. Thank you, Namit. Cheyenne, are you back on
Hello.
audio? Yes,
Can you
we
hear
can
me
hear
again?
you finally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
can you introduce
let me
yourself and then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hi, I'm Cheyenne. I matched to internal medicine this year at Cleveland Clinic, Florida, and I am a repeat applicant, and this was my 3rd time applying. So let me share my journey with you all and other attendees who are listening. So when I began my journey, as everyone mentioned about the CV personal statement was not that great, and I had no idea how to do that. Thankfully, I came into contact with USMLEsarthi, especially Pawan and his whole team. One thing which I like most about, there are a lot of things, but which I would like to say is the team of USMLEsarthi is not gonna spoon feed you, but will help you learn those tricks how to make the CV, which every time I made my CV, I remember they may have completely crossed it out, but that's how I learned. Every time I send it, it was again refreshed, happened back and forth, and that's how I got to learn where I'm making mistakes in terms of interview preparation as well. So first year I had 0 interviews. Second year I had 2. This time when I'm applying, I did have double-digit interviews. So fact of the matter is, again, obviously there was improvement from 0 interviews. Obviously, I felt pathetic like every other people does. But instead, Pawan and his whole team said, you have only 6 months. You can always feel pathetic, but at the same time, you can start working from the day 1. We are there to support you. We are there to help you. So I started, there are people, Catherine and other people who just worked on me, being a resident, being an intern here, how busy it could be, but still they had spent their time. I truly appreciate that. Without this support, it would not have been possible where I am. And it was my first choice, my dream. Obviously, coming back to research, which was my strongest area, and of USC, so every day, since I started applying, I worked on my publications, I worked on getting posters, then everything is how can we make your CV different? What else can we do? If I'm doing research, it would not be very feasible for me at the same time to do observership in other places because I have limitations with my J1 visa. So what Pawan and other team suggested, if you could observe at where you are doing research, that really helped me. I never knew of that fact. So what I started doing, I started rotating with pulmonary department in the morning, doing research in the afternoon. Then slowly I navigated my way, making sure I wrote it in each and every specialty there available. I won't leave anyone stone unturned. Obviously, there were thousands emails with rejections, like, you cannot, this, that, we only take students and all. But let me tell you guys, like, if you are really passionate about that, keep on emailing them, because it's going to help them as well. Like, you're going to take care of the course, right? You're going to take care of some paper notes, right? So then I got my break in the intermedicine team floor. I rotated with them 6 months. So I was basically, I was working like an intern. At the same time, I didn't do any lag in my research as well. I was able to get 7 PubMed publications. I was able to get my poster accepted at AMA. I got national award for that. So when I went to the interview, like, obviously they asked me, like, what differently you did, like, then I showed this and this projects I did. At the same time, I would like to say that whenever you are explaining, you should be better thorough about your research project if you have multiple of them. Because what my feeling is that they may think that you may have just been part or you have just been added to the team, but you have no idea what project it is. You just want to increase the volume. So when I was picking up my QI projects there, the interviewer said, hey, it's really excellent, don't take me, otherwise I have seen people, they just add their name, but you were so thorough, you were so passionate. And the biggest achievement what I got, and those remarks, which I'll be remembering him for the lifetime. He stood up from the interview table and said, this is my CV, let me pull up my CV. I am 58 years old. See my publication and your publication. I don't know why it didn't match, but I wish you all the success. You are really a great candidate. We'll be more than happy to have you. So this was a remark which I believe was my greatest achievement in this cycle.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. George, do you want to add something that may have missed, and before we move on to first-time applicants?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I've been noting everybody's points, and they're really very, 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 very valid points, and especially Cheyenne, and especially in these times where getting USC and everything is a little harder now, I would always recommend, even if you get multiple rejections from people saying you can't do rotations at your research, just keep trying, because this has worked for a lot of people, and it will continue to work, because you have limitations with your research, and limitations with doing observerships outside your research because of the visa and everything. It's always very important that you don't feel discouraged after getting 1 or 2 rejections saying, it's policy that we cannot take graduates, foreign graduates, etc. But once there's just one person who needs to take you in at one point, and after that, other people will see, and then slowly you can build up connections. And that works for a lot of people. It's very underestimated, and I feel that more people should take it up. So especially in times like these where observerships and rotations are not as freely available as before, trying to get a research position and then finding observerships through your research position would be a very important point, especially for this year and for the next year. That's just what I wanted to emphasize on. Everything else, everybody had talked about really valid points, and I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Thank you.